I am very competitive. I don't flip a table unless we're in one very specific game. For some reason, I've never won this game, ever, and it's Uno. I don't know what happens, but I get one card, and the whole family gets to draw fours, and they just pass it around, and then I get it, and I get, like, 25 cards. The card's big on the table. I'm done. Like, I Uno is the only game that I flip out because I just always get, like I always have to draw, like, 30 cards, and then I'm like, "I'm done. I don't wanna play anymore."
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? It is your friendly neighborhood BJJ podcaster, Rafa Esparza, coming to you with another great installment of the Grappling Hour. We got a hell of a guest for you today. This young man, he basically has punched his ticket to a big dance. So much he doesn't know he's on right now. Let's not tell him. All right, we're going to come back to him in a second, but he was thinking he had a few seconds before he was going to be on air. We don't tell him, we show the guest, and then we go back to my plugs. So now you have 2.5 minutes, sir, to go do whatever you need to do. But back to me. Before we get to him, why don't we tell you guys a little bit about this show? If this is your first time watching the show, hello, welcome. If you've been here before, you know the deal. You know right now we're going to remind you to go to patreon.com/grappling hour to see my interviews 30 days before anybody else. And for a few extra dollars, you could see extra bonus content not available anywhere else, including Roast Raf, a segment where people roast my competition footage, a segment called Tape Study, where we watch fights with professional grapplers and fighters. And it's really dope to hear insights from people who are in the UFC, Bellator, Cage Warriors, all these different organizations where they tell us what they were thinking and how they were able to pull off their big, big wins. So you can check that out. Additional things that are coming up. I mean, it's the end of the year right now, so we're going to start doing best of 2025. What were the best matches? Which, by the way, I'm going to ask this kid off air a little bit later. So just in case you want to see that video, you got to pay Patreon. So check that out. We're going to be doing that. Patreon.com/grappling hour. It really does mean a lot. And every dollar you put into the show goes right back and is reinvested into making it a better experience for all kinds of grapplers, new and old. People you know and people you don't know, but will know by the end of the show. All right. You can do that. You can also get some Grappling Hour merch. Go over to rafasparza.com/merch. You can get a hoodie. It's cold outside. Some of you live in places that snow, and I don't quite understand that. But sure, if you're cold, you wear a hoodie. If you compete, you need a hoodie. You want to wear a Grappling Hour hoodie. I saw one of my friends who was a former guest of the show. He came over, had a hoodie on. He was just like, dude, this is the most warm hoodie I've ever had. His testimonial, not mine. Then he told me he didn't have a good enough photo to put it up. He was like, dude, I don't have any photos of me in the hoodie. I'm waiting for the right photo one of these days. But that has not stopped him from posting thirst traps for the ladies. So I've been like, bro, you could take one day off the thirst trapping and post one photo of you in a hoodie for your friend who has that. So that's what I'm saying. Be a friend, pick one up. rafasparza.com/merch. And you can also get a tank top to show off the questionable gains that you may or may not have due to enhancements. TRT. You know what I'm talking about. You know exactly the people who I'm talking about. You have friends like that. I don't. My build is very non-steroid, and you can tell that. So you can do that. You can also like, comment, and subscribe. And if you don't know what you want to comment on by the end of this video, I will give you a prompt. Do not go anywhere for that. So be very excited. And last but not least, if you want to continue the conversations we have here on the show, you can check us out on our Discord. All right, let's talk about our guest. And I told him it would be about 2.5 minutes. Right on the money. Professional. This young man has punched his ticket to the PGF. But more than that, if you look at his smooth comp profile, which has music that I cannot play, If you look at that, this young man has 56 wins on smooth comp. And on the bracketing, on the little notation here, it says, one thing about me, I'm coming for that sub. Well, that's evident. And he did an incredible job over at the very first PGF qualifier. He is the very first athlete that you will see on season 9 of the PGF. Welcome for the very first time on the show, one, Anthony Parker Salisbury. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing amazing. Super happy to be on season 9 of PGF.
You look it, dude. And okay, let's get this right out the bat. You are how old right now?
17 years old.
17. Interesting. We had another young cat a couple seasons ago who was like a young upstart, and then he ended up winning. Who was that guy? Who was the guy that did really well? He was really young. The name's escaping me. Would you happen to know who he is?
I think I do. He's my best friend, Jett Thompson.
Oh my God, you're Jett Thompson's best friend. Okay. Guys, let's talk. You know what? I'm going to take him off right now. No more talking to him. Do you remember the horror that was Jett Thompson in season 6, which was like the first big reemergence of the show? Now you're telling me we got another one. Look at this kid. He doesn't look terrifying. But if you look at his smooth comp and you look at these highlight footage, photos, and videos, my man is a terror. So I know you like to go by Parker, so I'm just going to go ahead and assume we're good friends now. But Parker, what does it feel like to now have punched your ticket to be doing the same kind of competition that your best friend, Jett Thompson, was so famously a part of and has become a legend within a very short time in that format?
Honestly, it feels amazing to finally be a part of PGF. I tried to get on at season 6 for the Vegas qualifier. I came up short against Jamie Carnall. And then I tried out for the 205 season, which I got 1 win, lost 2, came up short again.
Just hold on. Just clarifying question here, sir. How much do you currently weigh?
Like 175.
And you went up to 205. And we're bypassing a few things here. You said you tried out for season 6. That would have put you at what, 15?
15, yeah.
Jesus Christ. I'm glad you weren't there, dude. As it is, the first season of making fun of Jett was kind of weird because people got very comfortable making fun of a kid who was essentially 17 years old. And I was like, guys, be nice to him. Be nice to him. He's just a kid. And then I see him compete and I go, he is not just a kid. Please go ahead and insult this young man. It's all we have. So for you, what did those experiences teach you as you were kind of getting dialed in? Because it sounded like you really wanted to be in this with your buddy.
The biggest thing I learned from those qualifiers was that you have to be super versatile. You have to be able to attack like upper body and lower body. And the biggest thing is never stop. As soon as you stop, your momentum goes away. And that's the biggest thing I learned from Jett in season 6 is you noticed as soon as he broke like John Combs in that first match, he was unstoppable after that.
That is fair. And John is a friend of mine. So imagine my surprise when I was like, all right, John, we'll see how this goes. Yeah, he's a good kid. Oh my God, he broke John. And I've rolled with John and I cannot break John. So I was in awe. I knew right away. I go, yeah, he's going to be a problem. And if you could see, if memory serves me right, it was like an Aoki lock, I think, right up top with John. When I saw
that,
go ahead, yeah.
That first ankle lock or Aoki lock I hit in the qualifier, if you run it back, that's actually the exact ankle lock that Jett hit on John Combs.
No way. So is that something that you guys have worked on together, or is that something independently you just both are pretty good at?
After he came back, he was like, "Hey, he told me, he was like, I don't even remember how I hit it. I just kind of did it." And I was like, we need to work on that because as soon as we get that down, you getting high level people with that, I know we'll start skyrocketing if we start working on this stuff.
That's amazing. Good Lord. Okay. Terrifying that he didn't know it. I thought it was bad enough because it seems like everybody could have secret weapons that they're good at. Everybody in their game has one or two things in the chamber that they're hoping they find their way into. It seemed like one of those things for him. So him blacking out and going like, I don't remember. What was that? Oh, an Aoki? I guess I do that. Is absolute insanity to me, but a testament to his grappler IQ. Now, for you, when was the first time you guys met? If you guys were already young, how long have you guys known each other?
We've known each other since we were, I want to say, not 10 and 11. We were 10 and 11. And actually, funny story about our first training together. I go to his gym, and what happens? He, right before a comp, he decides to hit me with a standing baseball bat choke and puts me unconscious. As yeah, I was a white belt, he was a yellow belt, he just grabbed it and threw me, and I went straight to sleep, and I was like, at first I was like, "I don't think I like him." And then he started showing me, like, jiu-jitsu, and I was like, "I think I like him because he's really good."
The thing I do love about Jett that was so apparent, especially in season one, and I think that's why so many people rallied behind him, and so many of his opponents have been friendly with him, is the absolute nicest dude off the mats. Uh, just really easy to talk to, really fun to converse jujitsu with. I've rolled with him once, and I have this thing where I like to try to put people in their best spots. Most people try to avoid the best spots. I want to know what you're good at. I don't presume I'm going to tap you or kill you or do any of that. A lot of times I'm just trying to learn what the secret sauce is, like what makes them good. And lo and behold, when I gave him my back, I was like, oh, well, nope, he's super good at that. And I just knew, as bad of a strategy as it is, it gave me more appreciation for when you would see him on the back. And at that time at the PGF last season, people were saying like, oh, he's not submitting people. He's not getting people. And I go, yeah, but he's never losing. He was never losing any of those matches. So really, you're just mad he's not getting you points in your fantasy league, or you're mad that like you didn't get a finish, but there was no question he was dominating those matches. So once I saw that, and I don't want to take credit for it, but I did notice he started submitting people after rolling with me. So the proof is out there, people. There's a date, there's a photo that corresponds with him starting to submit people. I'm just putting it out there. But nonetheless, I'm sure it's been fun to watch that. And for you, you've been at home absorbing this. You do those two different trial experiences. You've been sitting at home getting better. Before we get into a breakdown analysis of it, we asked what you were learning on the side, but what was the difference maker for you? Like, what do you think that you did differently this time for these trials than maybe the prior experiences?
The biggest thing I think I did differently in this season and in this trials is that instead of consistently playing into other people's games like I was in the other seasons, I was playing directly into my game. I was like playing K guard. I was shooting for arms. I was like immediately going into legs. I was playing my game off the bat, and I think that allowed me to get that 100% submission rate like I did.
Okay, we need to talk about submission rates and statistics. Glasses to glasses over here. You're very big on posting milestones and your smooth comp. Let me just say this: my smooth comp does not look like your smooth comp, so I'm a little jealous. But the other thing is, you noted that you got 500 plus matches with the AGF. So that's just one organization. Have you counted the other matches you've had in other organizations?
No, not yet. I need to.
Oh, okay. Is that something you're going to do?
Eventually,
Oh
yes.
God. Okay.
Honestly, I'm probably gonna make my mom do that.
That's so rude, by the way. Young man, you are capable of doing it yourself. Wait, has your mom had to count the AGF, or did they tell you you had competed 500 times for them?
Uh, my mom works with the AGF,
Mm.
so they both kind of told me, they bring me a whole poster, and they're like, "Hey, you finally hit 500 matches with us," and I was super excited about it.
So what did you feel like when they did tell you that? You said you were super excited, but why were you excited to hit that milestone with them?
I would think I was excited mostly because that shows, like, how much I have grown as a grappler, competing with them since I was a white belt, now all the way to purple, and I think it just shows how much I've grown throughout the years competing with them, and even showing that small tournaments can sometimes really help your game and, like, help you in a lot of ways.
Okay, let me get some more understanding here. Because when you say that your mom works for the organization, that obviously helps. So that's a big thing. But I think more than anything, that makes you so much more comfortable in high pressure situations. So a lot of people who are very successful in our sport speak about just getting those reps, getting out there, trying to stay active, and that the wins and losses will come and go. For you, what have you learned most from those 500? Because some people have gotten stillness, some people have gotten the complacency, some people have gotten just better submission rates. What do you feel like you have learned most in those 500 times, though?
Now, at this point, this wasn't up until recently, actually. Uh, Honestly, I think the biggest thing I've learned is that, as you said, losses, they come and go. Like, it doesn't matter who you lose to. Like, it's jiu-jitsu. You can lose to anybody at any given moment. Like, Jett's shown that. I've shown it in that video on my Instagram where that dude had my back and I got him. Like, that's just ridiculous. Like, I shouldn't. Like, it just shouldn't happen like that. But I think the biggest thing is that, like, if you have multiple matches in one day and you lose one, it holding on to that one match that you lost, it can cost you the whole tournament. So I
Mm.
think definitely competing that many times has taught me to let the losses go and just move on to my next match.
I cannot tell you how beneficial this is to have at the age of 17. Some people are older, younger, they compete for ages and they don't have that because I have people who are even counting wins in the gym. Like I have a guy who's literally like celebrating if you don't pass his guard, and that's the drill. And obviously newer, but it's hard for me to impress upon somebody who's heavily competitive. Like this is dumb. I try to roast him to be like, "Are you really celebrating? He didn't pass your guard," and he's like, "Yeah, man, I'm real competitive." And I go, "I get it, but do I want to spoil this for him? Like, do I need to tell him or does he need to experience it?" And I'm sometimes a person that needs to experience things myself, but I'm looking at him like, this is absurd. How bad is it going to be if this dude competes once and loses? And then meanwhile, you're over here being like, hey, bud, that's part of the game. And you having that clarity is what's going to drive you to further and further success. And arguably might be the reason that you were able to come back and punch your ticket to this season of the PGF. So now that we've talked about what it means, how you're feeling, I'd love to go match by match into this qualifying experience. And first of all, now that we're adding more and more qualifiers, what did it feel like to be a part of the one looking for the very first athlete that is going to be ascribed for this season?
Uh, I think being the first athlete in the qualifier that's finally confirmed for this season, it's super exciting, obviously. And I'm super excited because this is my chance now to finally prove that I'm at that, like, that pro level that I should have been proving a long time ago, but now I'm finally getting that chance to prove myself, and I'm super excited to be able to compete against these high level guys. Like I can't say it, but a couple of them I'm super excited to be able to compete against. And there's definitely there's a couple losses that I'm gonna get back. I can tell you that. That's for sure.
Okay, I like that. You know what? This invites you, the rest of you guys listening, to go on some smooth comp profiles and I guess try to search those out maybe or somewhere else. But what I can tell you is this: thank you for being tight-lipped because I'm not editing the show, and also I am a part of the organization for the pre and post show elements. So as much as I want to talk about who is involved, we need to let them make the announcements first. But having said that, I love the fact that you, when I'm asking you, like, what does it feel like to be the first? You're like, oh boy, definitely the first. But there's some people. And I'm thinking to myself, like, I don't even know who's involved yet. And I can't wait to see who it is. But based off of your reaction, well, now I'm super excited. So very good to hear. So let's talk about this. How many matches did you have for that setup?
For the PGF qualifier, I
Yes, sir.
had 5 matches total. I
Do,
had 2 against the same guy, Whit Ramey, obviously, and I had one against uh, a PGF veteran from season 1. I want to say his name's Nolan Randolph or Noel Randolph.
you'll
Sorry if
learn
I'm
that
butchering it.
Egghead is the one that'll probably come correct you and let you know. But we don't think it's impressive that Egghead basically does the job that ChatGPT can do. So it's not like something that's super bad if he's correcting you. Just you don't know because you're too busy winning. Go on, sir.
Uh, I was super excited. I was a little nervous against him. He was my semifinal match. I was super nervous to face him because I was like, PGF veteran. He's gonna be really good. Which he started off really strong, but I was able to grab. He started off with a body lock, and I was able to get a underhook and elevate him over the top. And then we ended up in like a 50-50 double outside ankle lock battle. And in semifinals, I was like, I want this 100% submission rate, so you're gonna have to really crank it if you want me to tap.
So hold on. You have my appreciation already because you've got a good work ethic. You definitely seem like a competitive guy, that this means something to you. But the 100% submission rate is something that we like in the world of jiu-jitsu because it's more entertaining, especially for a format like PGF that is designed more for TV. But why is that 100% submission rate so important to you?
It's so important to me because obviously it proves that one, it proves that I belong on this season, and it proves I'm gonna be an exciting grappler that people are going to have to watch out for this season. Obviously, we got some people right here that I'm hoping pick me up for the draft. I got another team that I'm the Kings. I also kind of hope they pick me up. But whoever I go to, I can promise you I'm going to be scoring a lot of points for you this season.
You know what I love about this? My man is already playing the draft game. It's 2 months away. And he's already like, oh, little old me would wear this t shirt, but another t shirt if somebody pays me well enough. Like, my man, that is the smart way to do it. And you know what's really good is when you watch the draft live, you see certain things happen. So, do you, and you don't have to say what they are because I don't want to spoil things, but do you have a draft strategy ready?
I don't, but I think I think the Twisters uh I think Matt has. I think he's gonna try and pick me up because
Okay.
he saw that I got that Twister energy going on. So I would definitely be excited to be on their team because obviously last season Rafael Fajeda he was on and Matt Marsh. Those dudes so exciting. They are some of the best grapplers to watch on that season. And I can guarantee you I'm going to be just like that no matter what team I go to. Obviously, I'm hoping it's the Twisters. I hope they pay to get me, but if they don't, I'm definitely gonna be bringing that energy to any team.
This is all great. I love this. And I'm gonna say, if I'm you and they give you that little mic time right before, practice that a couple times. Have your best pitch. That was pretty good right there. I'm not gonna lie. I felt like you were definitely signaling one as the speech expert of the group. You might want to open it up. Like, definitely make that eye contact with the twisters as you say it, but learn to be a little bit more open to a subtle eye contact and delivering the message. So you can, again, just to let you know, my background, former speech and debate coach, won a couple things myself, not bad at it, competed in the way you guys compete in jiu-jitsu, got a full ride for it, and coached a very prominent team for it. One thing I might say is what you just said about specifically naming one team is the same thing you can do by looking somebody in the face and implying the following. Well, I
Okay.
can be very, very exciting with my grappling. And like other people who have a history of having incredible, exciting, high impact matches, I could do that for your team or your team or your team. And if you do that, you're basically letting them know I paid attention last season. And that little bit of sustained eye contact will do all the work for you. Because I think if you drive it home and you go, Alabama Twisters, and they're like, we're out of money, fam, or the pricing doesn't work, you might price yourself out of a little bit of money. And I want to see if we can get you some prime money, but you harp, young man, you harp on that 100% submission rate because you saying that, if you have your statistics in line, last year, you're right, Hoffa got the people going. JJ got the people going for a high amount of money just by saying nobody here is going to sub me. So there's ways to rile the people up, and that's only going to get you more bang for your buck. So keep that in mind.
That is definitely something I was watching the other day. I was rewatching the draft, seeing what people were saying, seeing what was getting them paid. And I was definitely paying attention to what they were doing, like the little subtle cues they were giving out just to like kind of let people know.
That makes me very happy because some of the guys, when they saw us noting their stuff, they're like, man, I'm like, dude, this is something I know what I'm talking about. Like, you can tell me my jiu-jitsu is trash. That's fine. You're not going to tell me you know more about public speaking than me. That doesn't mean you can't do a one-off. Like, I got people excited once. Anybody can do that. Your mom can do that. Your uncle can do that. Anybody can do an impression, but it's just like, how do you speak to the people? So I'm glad you're doing your homework. My man, let me ask this. Did you literally, after knowing you're going to the PGF, go to the draft afterwards and go like, well, now this is homework. I got to do tape study on even the draft.
Yes, for the people I know that are in the season, I am studying, and I am studying everything. I'm rewatching that season, rewatching a little bit of the 175 season for season 6 because
Mm,
I think a few of those guys are definitely gonna be coming back.
mm.
But I'm definitely doing my research on the guys, so that is for sure something that I'm on top of, so that I'm ready and ready to score. Most importantly.
I love that. Okay. So we talked about, do we hit three matches or do we hit them all? Because I know you kind of went a little out of order in saying that you went against somebody twice. Did we cover all the matches, sir?
Uh, no, we're missing the for two of them. One of them is actually one of my good friends, Gabe McKay.
Mm,
He was there. We had a really good match, and I believe he's actually signed up for the Gatlinburg, if I'm correct. I think that's the qualifier this weekend.
mm.
I think he signed up for that this weekend. Hopefully, I'm pretty confident in him to go grab that win. Hopefully, we'll see him on the PGF if he grabs that win. And then my very first guy, I don't remember his name, but that was the one I hit that really nasty Aoki lock on, and I had 2 breaks in under 1 minute, and I think one of them was that first guy.
Nice. So for you, we asked what it felt like to win it and be a part of it. Immediately after, what was that general feeling? Like you get the finish, you get Bobby, aka Stephen Aiken, coming over to give you your first interview, which by the way, has to feel like it's cementing the process. Cause talking with him, talking with people like Egg or myself or BMAC, like now it starts to feel a little bit more real, I'm assuming. But Bobby being the first person you get to do that post interview, I'm sure has got to be a great feeling.
Yeah, he walked up to me and he shook my hand, and I think as soon as he shook my hand, I think that was the moment I was like, "Wow, I'm really going to the PGF. Like, I'm going 100% in, and this is gonna be one of the greatest 5 to 6 weeks of my life."
That's amazing. All right. So now that we know all these things, we know you've been doing the tape studies. We got to do a little bit of a dive back. I'd like to go backwards here for a second. And then we're probably going to get a little bit more into your Instagram. Actually, before we dive back, one last thing I saw on your page. It says something to me when I see certain things here that fit people's personalities. And on yours, I saw you put up one of the characters from Monsters Inc. not being able to look at your own footage. When did you get the idea and did you make that? Because it seemed like something you put together. And yes, it is very scary to look at some of those submissions you were hitting, sir. What prompted that?
Uh, as much as I would like to take the credit for this, it was my mother. She did give the idea and make it, and she showed it to me, and I was like, "Yes, that is amazing. Let's definitely make that a post because obviously that is hilarious and it's funny."
Well, you know what? Big thanks to your mom. She's got a good eye, man. And I mean, not for nothing, she's doing a pretty good job of making sure the marketing's there because I saw that and I go, did the kid put this together? The editing's not bad. It's the right idea. It's a good concept. So, yeah, kudos to her, man. I mean, between making sure that all of your matches are counted, doing these videos, and then you suggested that she should be the one to do the match counting for you total. The reason why I was asking about the match counting is that I'm like, dude, you gotta be close. I'm sure somewhere in this, you might be near like 1,000 matches.
I'm probably somewhere like close to that. I just haven't like because I've done a lot of other tournaments
Mm.
and I've had a ton of matches in other organizations, and I haven't bothered to count them. Like Jet has on his Instagram, he has his exact record. Like that's his exact record he has there, and he updates it every time.
Oh my
And
god.
I'm like, I wanted to do that, but then I was like, I'm not going through all my wins and all my losses. That's too much work for me.
I'm a big stats guy, so I do appreciate it for those who do that number. Maybe you could hire Egg to do it. Nah, your mom will do it. Actually, keep it within the family. I'm back on the your mom should do it train. But I feel like you should do something nice for her. Like, I don't know what you got planned for your Christmas stuff, but definitely have something in mind to do something that shows the moms how much you appreciate her doing that because it's a lot of work here, bud.
Definitely. I'm definitely gonna I gotta show mom some love.
There we go. All right, my man. So let's go back to the beginning because one thing you said in between the PGF qualifier moments was that you felt like you should have been better even a few years ago. And you're like, man, I should have been blowing up 2 or 3 years ago. And all I could think of is, young man, you're 17. When you say that, you mean you should have been terrorizing the adult jiu-jitsu world at the age of 14, which sounds like a noble quest, but you should just be beating up other 14, 15, 16, maybe 18-year-olds. Instead, you've always had these grander ambitions. So I'd like to go backwards and try to figure out, where does jiu-jitsu start for you? So was jiu-jitsu the first sport you played, or were you doing other sports?
Um, I'm pretty sure I started with my brother in karate or taekwondo, something like that, and I just did not like. I didn't like it. It was too like they just weren't like going hard enough, or they were just kind of butterflies. I didn't want that. I wanted something that was like gonna consistently give me a challenge throughout my entire career, and that's exactly what jiu-jitsu does for me. It gives me that challenge to always be getting better every single day. So I ended up like going literally right down the street to a jiu-jitsu place, and immediately it's completely different. Like I had to roll, I had to like actually learn like how to defend moves, and it was way more difficult. So I definitely appreciated the difficulty of it. Some days I was definitely like wanting to quit, but that was never going to happen.
What can you tell me about your very first day in jiu-jitsu class?
Very first day, from what I remember, I went in and it did not go super well. It went pretty bad. I I got thrown a lot, but no matter what happened, I just kept getting back up, and I just kept fighting. Like, I remember getting subbed, like, 2 or 3 times. I wasn't subbed, like, too bad, but, like, there's definitely a few subs that that got me pretty bad. But my first day, I did pretty well. It wasn't overly too bad. And then, like, not even a few months later, like, 2 or months later, I think I had a comp, which was
Why?
really fun.
Well,
I
hold
ended
on.
up taking 2nd at comp.
So you did it within 2 months. What was the
It's
push to
like
compete so early then?
it was, like, 2 or 3 months in, something it was something like that. Uh it was like it was just, like, on a music stage, just, like, out, like, they were just holding mats, like, just out there, and they were like, "Hey," they swung by the gym, the people were like, "Hey, you wanna compete?" I was like, "Sure, why not?" Like, why wouldn't I wanna compete?
And hold up, how old were you at this point?
I hadn't let me say, I did start in California. I did start jiu-jitsu in California, so I hadn't been with Jett or anybody, like, I hadn't met these people yet, but what was the question? Sorry.
Oh, I was just trying to figure out a carbon date. How old were you?
Oh, I think I was 9?
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, so you're
9.
9. We're talking first 2 months of training. 9. You liked the competition. You gravitated toward it. You said you took second. What stood out to you about that first competition experience then?
Uh, honestly, the fact that this made me really mad. The fact that I lost to a girl in the finals, that really got to me. I was not having that. I was really mad that I lost to a girl out of all people. I beat the guy, I beat the little kid, went to the finals, and I was 9, so I don't really know how to move my body, so I just, like, kinda jumped around, and, like, I was on top, and then I got swept from mount, and she scored, and then she won, and I was so sad. I lost with and there was, like, 5 seconds left. She swept me, she won, I lost, and I I was like, "I don't know if I'm ever gonna" I was definitely gonna compete later, but then sadly, my professor passed, and I kinda took a break after that, and then, obviously, after that is when we move to Oklahoma, and I meet Jett, and he tells me to do another competition.
Oh, wow. So that was the break. Now, here's what I'm happy about. I'm actually happy that experience happened to you because it shows you that technique conquers all. And at a young age, that might be hard to process because I can't tell you how many professional athletes have come in and said, "Oh, a kid your size came in and beat me." And then all of a sudden I was like, I'm going to murder everybody. I hate this. And then they learn the science of it. You get beaten by a girl. And I'm sure at the time it might feel embarrassing, but for that girl, being able to sweep you shows that if you have good mastery of technique, you can beat anybody. And it really does go a long way. The other part of the story that's very interesting is then all those years later, it's not until you're encouraged by Jett to compete again. And what's great about it is you could have let the story end potentially with that experience. And instead, it's given you probably more motivation to come back and be better at this, while at the same time having the perspective like, damn, girls are going to be pretty good at this too, actually. So I do appreciate that you have this full spectrum of competition experience in a short amount of time. So when your family moved, how long was it between, you said, yeah, you've known Jett for a long time. So it wasn't that far after you guys moved and that you met him. So how long of a layoff was it between the competitions then?
Uh, I think between the competition, between that one and my next one, I think it was like a year.
Mm,
I stopped jiu-jitsu for a good, I think it was like 9 months, and
mm,
I just wasn't ready to come back. And then I came back, and then my parents were like, "Hey, we're moving to Oklahoma." I was like, "Okay, nothing I can do about it." So I was like, "Cool." And my dad was looking for gyms, and he found this one with one of my Oklahoma coaches, Randy Ray. He was
mm.
there, and I loved him. He's an amazing coach. So I went there. Jett trained there, and my dad kind of like he didn't notice Jett because Jett was coming in every once in a while. He was training at another association,
Mhm.
and he saw him come in. And he was like, "Oh, that kid is gonna be good, like a good training partner once Parker gets older." So my dad said. So I was like, "Okay, let's go in." And then that's when that first day happened with Jett, where he put me to sleep.
You know what? That probably is pretty funny to a different set of people as well, because between all these crazy experiences, I feel like you had literally textbook 5 different entries into jujitsu that people are lucky to get one of those experiences that like teach them something. You had like 5. The next lesson you have is like, all right, well, I'm gonna find my way back to jujitsu. Meanwhile, your parents are like, we're gonna move, and you go, I'm gonna find my way back to jujitsu in a different state. And then when you do finally come back, some people might have stopped after getting put to sleep. And yet you kind of realize, damn, he's pretty good. Maybe I don't like him today, but that's actually a resource for me. That's actually the person I want on my team. I don't want to go against that guy. I want to have that guy help me so that I can become a comparable training partner and maybe just as good, if not better than them. So I like that. I get this vibe, and you can tell me, and this is consistent with a lot of people, so I do ask this a lot, a very competitive person. So are you competitive at board games, video games? Like, are you the person who flips a table if you don't win? Like, what kind of competitive person are you?
I am very competitive. I don't flip a table unless we're in one very specific game. For some reason, I've never won this game ever, and it's Uno. I don't know what happens, but I get one card, and the whole family gets to draw fours, and they just pass it around, and then I get it, and I get like 25 cards. The cards they go on the table. I'm done. Like I Uno is the only game that I flip out because I just always get like I always have to draw like 30 cards, and then I'm like, I'm done. I don't want to play anymore.
Oh my
But I
God.
am very competitive.
I do get that about you, and I think that's good. And you know what? It's a skill you have to have if you're going to do this. And sometimes the emotions that come with competition are good and bad. And if you learn how to do and balance those things, you can be a pretty good competitor. The real trick is if your family recognized that you weren't good at Uno, I could almost see them being like, "Hey, you want to come play some Uno?" And it's like, "No, you know that's the one I don't like." And they're like, "No, no, come. It's fun. You're going to enjoy it." You almost feel like you're getting baited into the one thing you know you hate.
I always go and I'm like, okay, we're just gonna play one game because I can hold it in for about like 3 games. Then once we hit that third game and I lose again and I draw like 15 cards, I'm like, I'm okay, I'm done. I I'm done with this game. I'm gonna go sit on the couch. You guys can finish this game and let me know when we're playing something else.
I'll tell you this, Parker. If we ever have the ability to roll, and I feel you're going to be pretty good, so I got to come up with old people tricks. I'm going to have a deck of Uno cards like on me where you put like, where you're supposed to put the mouth guard and they have that little slot in the shorts. I'm going to have some Uno cards and be like, hey, was this your card? And I'm just going to be like, draw four. I feel like that might send you into a psychosis. They're going to let me get out of something in pass guard.
Ugh. It definitely could happen. That's definitely a possibility.
Either that or I'm just gonna get a rash guard of Uno cards that's like a reverse Uno. Uh, I love to actually, one of my favorite things to say when somebody sweeps or like there's a big twist in commentary when I'm doing MMA commentary or jiu-jitsu commentary, I'll always say something is reverse Uno'd. It's kind of something I like saying a lot because I think it perfectly encapsulates when someone's on top and somebody comes from underneath and you know the person on top was like, what the hell did I do? I'm so pissed. I go, no, you got reverse Uno'd. Sucks. So I think that's actually a not bad rash guard. Writing that one down. Reverse Uno. Look into not getting sued, though. Okay. Anyway, notes for me in the future. So you start this way. You're competitive. You come back in. There was something else that I did want to go into, but I'll start with this. What was like the first submission you felt like you had a pretty good mastery of, or that you started to like resonate with?
Triangles, triangles. They were and they are not my favorite now, but they are the best submission, like the best choking submission that I have and that I've had. I literally in one tournament I went there, I had like 16 matches. It was when I was a green belt. I was in blue belt and kids divisions. And I was like, you know what, today I'm just gonna triangle people. And I hit like 16 or 15 triangles in the entire tournament. Just everybody got triangled that day. I was like, this is amazing. I love this submission.
That's pretty dope. I'm curious about this. For you, do your parents train? Because you're saying that they do all this ancillary work for you. They either are people who train or the best booster club parents anybody has ever seen. So like, do they have an association with martial arts or sports?
Uh yes, my mom does train. My dad, I'm trying to get him into training. We're still working on that one. But my mom does train and she's good. She's really good.
Okay, good. I was about to say, I was like, well, then mom should have been the first one, I'm sure, that was explaining, like, yo, you got beat by a girl because, like, you just weren't good that day. And she swept and she was good. So, womp womp. But I think that's pretty dope to have that in the family. I don't want to get too deep into this because I feel like I don't want to get into bullying your dad into training. But what's the catch? Like, what, for just any reason? Is there a particular reason your dad hasn't wanted to yet? Because I'm trying to figure out if we should respect it or maybe help you craft the message that might help a little bit better here. Because I will tell you this, if you were my son and you're as good as you are, I don't know that I want to roll with you. I might do jujitsu, but I might be like, I see you going for these leg attacks that just makes me think old people like myself like to walk. So when I see the children going for footlocks, I have to learn how to do them before they do, because what ends up happening is they'll grow their ACL back like that. Me, forever, dude. I can't walk. So what has been the resistance from your old man?
I think it's the fact that deep down he knows I'm better than he would be when he starts. So I don't think he wants to give me that chance of beating him up every day. Because what would happen is he would ground me and I'd be like, we got training tonight, you know it's gonna happen. And I would roll with him and I would just like I wouldn't even sub him. I would just like take his back, I would just hold him down and there's nothing he could do because we're in practice. And plus, my dad he was a wrestler, so he does not he hates that I could leg lock him. Like he does not like when I grab his feet. Like he'll be laying on the couch or like just sitting down, and I'll like come just like grab his foot like for an ankle lock, and he despises it. He does not like that.
You know what? I'm starting to get a better picture here. It's all coming together now. So let me get this straight. One, your dad's a wrestler, so probably had some talent with the takedowns. Uh, do you consider yourself a guard puller, or are you a wrestler as well?
If we're going off of my competition experience, definitely a guard puller, but in the gym for some reason, I wrestle with everybody, and my wrestling I when I was in Oklahoma, I literally went to a wrestling club, like, 2 or 3 times a week, but for some reason, I'm just like, I'm not scared, but I'm scared, like, of wrestling with some people,
So
but every time I do wrestling comp, I do really good.
I'm going out the scenarios and I could be off base. So, Mr. Salisbury, if I'm wrong, my apologies. But do you think he sees you pull guard and as a wrestler in his experience just looking like, oh, no son of mine, or hold, more likely possibility, are you bullying your dad? Because why are you picking on this civilian that doesn't even train and hitting footlocks on him when he's probably just tired from working to provide a nice life for his family? Then all of a sudden, you got this really talented young son that's like, hey, dad, I know you're tired, but wham, this is an Aoki lock. How you feel about that? I think that's the part of the cell that's not getting him to actually go and train.
I think that's most likely it. That makes sense. I think that's probably, like, 90% of it.
So okay, let's try to fix this here. I think. Do you want to again? This is all speech rhetoric guy. Do you want to hear my pitch for this?
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Salisbury, pleasure to meet. My name's Raph. I'm going to be making fun of your son, probably for the next 4 months. Pleasure to meet. I know he's very good at jujitsu, but if I were to make the pitch, here it is. I think you should train some jujitsu with your son now. Obviously, a wrestling background. I didn't wrestle when I was a kid, so you got something as an advantage on all of us. But if you're nervous he's going to catch you with some footlocks, I argue you can make that bonding happen now. I think it'd be really good. Father, son, he can teach you how he's doing it. But if we're talking strategy, sir, I'm going to take him off the camera now. Sir, he's only going to get better. And if you wait too long, it's going to get worse. I think now is the time to go. Not saying he's not good, but just imagine how much better he's going to get and finesse those leg locks. It's what I do to all my wrestlers. I 100% attack legs. And guess what? They start learning like velociraptors in Jurassic Park. Once a wrestler learns a footlock, though, evens out the score. That's my pitch. Good family bonding. Hold a deck of Uno cards and get an Uno rash guard. That's my thought to you. Anyway, that's my pitch. Thoughts?
Yes. Great. That's an amazing tip. I'm
Thank you.
definitely gonna show him that later.
Please do. I have a feeling, at the very least, I think it's like this. Because your mom trains and your dad has wrestling, you all speak a language of practicing a combat sport, which I'm sure bonds them and makes them root for you all the more. Some parents don't necessarily always understand combat sports, but it sounds like you have a very engaged set of parents that love you and want to give you these great opportunities. And I think that's super dope. Having said that, you have moved again. So, what prompted the move on out to? You said that you're now in Alabama, yeah? Oh,
Florida.
Florida. My apologies. Melbourne, Florida, right?
Yep.
Okay. What prompted the move out that way, sir?
My professor, Israel Gomez, lives out here. The headquarters, so we have a huge association for killer bees, and the headquarters is out here in Melbourne. So I'm pretty sure my mom said that I can move anywhere, but not until I'm a black belt. So after I get my black belt, I can like go move and train anywhere. But so I think they also really want to have a home gym, like a really nice home gym, which is here in Florida. And my professor is the guy who belts me. So I think this is why they want to move out here so I can be closer to being belted. And he's also been watching me like through the camera, which like you can like give me advice through camera like footage, but it's a lot easier when you see me day in and day out in
Mhm.
practice and you can adjust like in like live while I'm there.
That makes sense. Man, I love the fact that your mom's put it on you. She's like, you move whatever you want, but you better get that black belt. Like, talk about goals and motivation, sir, because woo, that is most people just put like you gotta get a job, you gotta get schooling, you gotta get something. Your mom straight out put the jujitsu ranking system on you. So you might be the student that's like, hey, brown belt's looking pretty good right now. Just I'm trying to live on my own, trying to be independent. So how about we belt test me? What do you think? So I like that a lot. I want to ask this. There's a moment where for every person when they do jujitsu where it's more than just a hobby. So when did you actually fall in love with jujitsu in a way where it was going to be more than something you just do as a hobby and follow as a pursuit and very likely a career?
I think honestly, I believe it was when I had got my orange black belt. I got promoted to orange black and I went and did a cash tournament in a blue belt division. And I ankle locked everybody in there. And at that point, I think I realized I was like, oh, like I can actually make this a living. And I think like orange is when I started to really realize how good I could actually be. And at that point, I was like, okay, now we need to like double down on the work and start working way harder so I can like provide the skills to make this a real living.
That's really cool that that happened that early for you so that some people when they're young they think they're going to be in different careers and they may try two or three different things, but you have stuck with this and it seems like it's going to be something that's a part of your life forever. So I can kind of see that in your life, and I'm very happy that is the case. And I'm glad that you found an instructor. Again, my condolences on your previous instructor passing. That you could find another kinship with, another close relationship that you would be encouraged to move and kind of continue pursuing that together. Because finding a good coach that really understands your style is very difficult to do. Let's get into this though. You're also known as TV Dinner. So I saw another name on there, and I'm not. It said White Recluse, if I'm not mistaken, as your old moniker.
White Recluse, yes, that was my previous name. Under our association, we have Anderson Silva, UFC champion. So he is under Killer Bees, or he is. And obviously, everybody knows him as the Spider, and White Recluse means the white spider. And we were just driving him to the airport, and he was like, "That's gonna be your name for now." So he was like, "Yeah, your name is gonna be the White Recluse, and you're gonna be called the White Spider."
Good to know. But then you make the transition to TV Dinner. So, how does one go from within the spider family to now a brand of foods that you sometimes eat when you're in a rush? So, why TV Dinner, sir?
My last name, as you all know, is Salisbury. So we got Salisbury steak, and Matt was immediately off the rip. First match, he was like, "We got TV dinner in the house," and I looked at him. I was like, "I'm gonna show you that I definitely am gonna be TV dinner." And I definitely got some ideas that we're gonna be doing for PGF. on that draft day, you guys better be watching because it's gonna be funny.
Thank you. I'm so encouraged by this because, good lord, when I saw TV dinner, I just thought like, is he from Bama? I don't know a ton about you in that way yet. That's why I like doing these interviews. I get to know that. But then I started thinking, like, how does one get the nickname TV dinner? And then you go Salisbury, but sure, other people can have Salisbury for different things. And then all of a sudden you mentioned that it's Matt, and I go, oh, that sweet Southern draw. Yep. This man's going to make this man change his nickname based on his syrupy voice. That son of a gun is able to make you change an entire nickname within seconds. So, congrats to you. It does fit. I do like it. I do laugh because, good Lord, kid, the fact that you're already thinking of branding is very good. So, I think we're at a place now where we can see you do some big things. I do want to ask this though. So, where do you kind of see yourself within the next few years? Because right now you're at a good place. Obviously, PGF is next, so we're very excited. But I'd love to hear where you're going, and then also at the very end, tell us why we need to tune in to you this season for PGF, sir.
The next few years are definitely going to be some to watch. If you're following me already, obviously great. If you aren't following me, you definitely need to watch my journey for the next few years because in the next year, obviously, I plan to go to 175 season 9 PGF, and I'm going to try and take that title home, obviously. And I think the biggest thing is just leveling up every day and hopefully getting on that CJI stage or that ADCC stage and winning those titles, like getting those prestigious titles and definitely eventually like throughout like when I'm getting older, definitely establishing that I'm going to be the greatest, like one of the greatest to ever do jiu-jitsu.
Love that, man. That's some good stuff. What I would love to do right now is give you an opportunity to shout out any sponsors, friends, family members. I mean, you better shout out your family. Like, we talked about this. There better be a good Christmas present for the moms. You keep being like, oh, she'll just tally up my stuff. I'm like, I think moms has stuff to do. But let's shout out friends, family members, teammates, anybody who made you the grappler that you were and helped contribute to this incredible win at the most recent PGF qualifier.
One of the first I want to shout out my parents, my mom and my dad. They have supported my journey of jiu-jitsu up my until 17 now. And I'm super grateful that they're able to like relocate us in all these great places and make my jiu-jitsu journey possible on becoming the best I could possibly be. But also there is one person I want to give one of the biggest shout outs to is one of my coaches that I met first day in Oklahoma, Randy Ray. This guy is he's an older brother to me basically. He is one of the best guys you will ever see. He's so nice, so great as a coach, and his jujitsu is goofy. It is so goofy. Like that is like when people watch me and they're like, "You have goofy jujitsu." I'm like, that's exactly where I get it from. I get it from him, and he has been so, like he's the one who introduced me to leg locks after like and like he taught me basically everything I need to know after Jett like cleaning up some things. And then I have another coach in Oklahoma, Bill. He helps me like become more of a grimy grappler. I've been like kind of like grinding against people's faces when I'm on the back, kind of like forcing my way past guard. Like definitely being a little bit of a meaner grappler lately. Uh, and then my girlfriend, I gotta give a huge shout out to her. She, yeah, she has been super helpful. She always helps me during competitions, helps me warm up, like stuff like that. She is the best girlfriend I could ever ask for. And then my brother, definitely my brother. He has Down syndrome, but he has always supported me and he shows me so much love even when I lose. So I have to give the biggest shout out to him. He's my biggest supporter, my biggest fan. I definitely appreciate him. And then two last sponsors, or one sponsor and one team. I have to give a shout out to the Alabama Twisters for holding the first qualifier and allowing me to compete in it. That was one of the greatest experiences of my life. I greatly appreciate it, and I'm super thankful for that qualifier. And then my sponsor, my gear sponsor, First Roll. I appreciate them so much for giving me super amazing gear and just everything like that. I'm super grateful that they're sponsoring me throughout my jiu-jitsu journey. And I think that's it.
It's a pretty good list. 2 qualifying questions here. 1, does your girlfriend train as well?
She does. She does train.
Look at you, man. You are surrounded by combat sports training partners and friends and family. That's a really cool thing. So kudos to you, man. That's a nice circle to be a part of. 2, now you just flipped yourself. Thank God. Okay, good. Number 2, and I'm not fixing that one. That one stays in. Number 2, you described Randy's jiu-jitsu as goofy. Now, do you think he would also agree to that term?
100%.
Okay.
There's no way he wouldn't agree with that.
Because you know what's weird is you mentioned somebody's game was goofy, and I don't know him personally, so I don't know how he would respond. All I could ever do is put that in context for myself, and I'm like, if somebody called my name, my game goofy, I would probably just go, yeah, I guess so. But then I'd maybe think about it again and be like, wait a minute, why is this 17-year-old kid calling my game goofy? How dare he? But if he is, don't know, Randy, I hope that came out well. If you clip this amongst your teams and you start circulating it, remember it was the child that said it, not me. So I want to make that very clear. I just gave him the avenue, and if it fits, then we're A+. If it doesn't, that man did it. This dude just hosted the show, so we'll keep that in mind. I gotta tell you, man, Parker, you're such a good vibe, and we're gonna get really excited very soon about all these people who are part of PGF. And I feel like all those extra rounds that you've spent with Jett are gonna pay off because just based, I'm sure, off stories, it's a grind. Like, it is a physical grind of a competition over the next, 6 weeks that you're going to be doing hardcore training. What I do want you to keep in mind, though, is it's also going to be a mental grind. So just prepare for that as best you can. The good news is usually when you're younger, it doesn't resonate with you, but it is going to be a mental grind. It's going to test you, and I want you to draw upon those 500 matches that you've had to always keep you centered, so that way you can perform the best you can, because you've already given highlights and they're scary, and that's the kind of stuff that makes for good TV. So you're going to be fun to watch, but when it really gets down to it, just know that you've done the preparation, you've trained with the right people, and that we can't wait to see what you do on that stage, young man.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to say goodbye to the folks on TV here, and then I'm going to say bye to you off air. But Parker, thank you so much for coming on the show. It was a blast to get to know you, and I look forward to roasting you for the next 4 months.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
All right, you guys, before we get on out of here, a couple quick reminders. First and foremost, like, comment, and subscribe right now. Right now. And I told you I'd give you guys a prompt if you waited till the end of the video. So what is the game, like Parker over here, for Uno that just drives you nuts? And what is the one that you know your family members and friends make you play even though you hate? I'll say this. I didn't love Pictionary because I couldn't draw. And then I worked on a game show called Pictionary, and now I don't care. I've learned to come around to that. But yeah, sometimes it's wild how that happens. I'd be like, oh, I'll never play Pictionary. And then I'm like, I'm working on a show called Pictionary. That's wild. So a lot of things can change here, people. Like, comment, and subscribe. Additionally, if you guys would be so kind, patreon.com/grappling hour. Check these interviews out 30 days before everybody else. And for a few extra dollars, you can see bonus content not available anywhere else. You can also check us out at rafsparza.com/grappling hour. If you would be so kind to buy some merch, you can pick up a hoodie, a tank, a t-shirt, whatever it is that fits your bill. We appreciate that. And then last but not least, you can also check out our Discord for future conversations that we have about the topics that we talk here on the show. All right, folks, that's going to do it for us here at the Grappling Hour. Thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate you guys, and we will see you back on the next one. It's been a great day for grappling. We'll see you back on the mats.